Well, here we are. It's a beautiful May day.
Yes,
I think it's the first day of May, so that would be May Day, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? So
We're sitting out on our back porch, just kind of enjoying the beautiful weather that the Lord gave us today. It's so gorgeous out here.
yeah, it's really nice. And we're doing this because we want to take a few minutes and just talk to you about the season that we're in specifically, and also about what we're doing about it. As you know, everybody is starting to talk about re-entry and recovery and how do we get things back to normal. Businesses are starting to spool up, and things are starting to open. So then that begs the question, when does the church open and how does it open? Well, the first thing we probably need to say is that the church is never closed. It's been fundamentally and functionally open.
Yeah.
We're actually growing as a church based on online interactions. We're on all these streams, all these platforms. So I kind of want to talk about church a little bit and about what it is and what it means, and then announce to you as we're entering into a new normal, really announce to you kind of how we're moving forward and what re-entry looks like for us as a church. So I think it'll encourage everybody. I think it'll be a blessing to everybody. So the way I want to talk about it is, ecclesia is a biblical principle, and the biblical principle of being the church. It's how the church expresses itself, grows, how the church just doesn't grow in the sense of adding people, but how it grows in the sense of maturity, spiritual maturity, and discipleship, and community. And ecclesia is the fellowshipping, the gathering together. And Hebrews talks about, don't forsake the assembly of yourselves together. And in this digital age, it's been kind of hard to talk or kind of hard to relate to a population that's become more digitally oriented. And this COVID-19 has really forced us into, okay, we have to really learn how to relate digitally. And how important is it? How functional is it? Does it really work? And I don't think it's the best and highest example of what the church should be, but it's certainly a part of what the church is.
Yes.
And it's something that the church has to be over the next, probably, I don't see it ever changing.
No.
Digital is always going to be a part of what the church does.
Even more so as time goes on, probably.
Yeah, and this forced us to really develop. It's been an initiative we've had for a couple of years. We've talked a lot about it, about developing our digital presence, our digital footprint. Thankfully, we've got people like Heidi and Pastor Charity and so many others that are really championing what we're becoming in that environment. I know Pastor Jonathan with the kids and family ministries has really championed how do we get people involved through digital formats. But I digress. So when I think about that, as we come back, they're not going to just say, "Okay, guys, go back to church."
Right.
We're too number one.
We wish, but
number one, we're too big for what we're seeing as now the phase-in plans for recovery from Johnson County, Jackson County, so on and so forth. Now, our Independence campus is a little different because it's a smaller campus.
Right.
They can integrate really in phase 2. They can become a functional church at phase 2 in the classic sense as we understand it. But the Olathe campus just can't. So we spent a lot of time talking with the team, talking with the elders, and really using a couple things to kind of help us understand our decisions outside of prayer and the leadership of the Lord. The first is that as the ecclesia, there's, in this current season that we're in, there is this incredible dynamic of the streams of how the church is the church. And so we've discovered this, that in a lot of ways, many people feel more connected than ever. Now, not everybody does, but there's a high population of our church that feels more connected than it's ever felt.
Right.
But that's for a lot of reasons. So these streams that make us the church, the stream of what we are digitally, online, our social media, that stream. And we're going to develop that and make that even better, where now we've got small groups that are meeting digitally, and we're going to develop We've got our new members class. We're going to start doing some basic training, next steps. So we're literally integrating an online campus that isn't just a view into our live service when we're gathered together in an attend, and we're just filming what's happening live. This is a specially designed digital campus.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is we are going to lean into that even more. Even when we get back to quote unquote normal, we're still leaning into this digital campus and really making it as functional as we can within the digital environment, a campus. The other stream is the two streams that the early church experienced. In Acts 2, it talks about the early church gathering together in homes, and we've called them small groups or harvest groups. But now we're seeing that there's another possibility there, where the church is functionally connecting at the larger scale at a smaller environment, in a smaller environment. And then finally the third stream, which is the actual celebration gatherings. When we gather on a weekend and we celebrate all that God is doing, collective worship, there's just something that happens when you get a whole lot of people in a room and you really intentionalize and focus on what the Lord is doing. Mm-hmm. And so we've been kind of in all three of these streams, but our focus has always been the gathering service,
right?
Celebration service. And this has forced us to really get intentional about being smaller and also being intentional about digital. So those are those streams: digital, small gathering, celebrations, which is harvest groups, and we're going to introduce something new to you as well. And then our larger celebration gathering service on the weekend. So I guess having said all that, we're excited to say that we plan a re-entry into gathering groups, starting with phase 1 of the JUCO metropolitan mandate. So the phase 1 will allow gatherings of 10. So we are going to, at the point that they allow that, we are going to take the lid off and say, if you're a harvest group and you want to meet, just observe social distancing, be careful about what you're touching, just be aware, be sensitive. But we're going to open up homes, anybody's home that's comfortable doing it. Once again, people have to be comfortable. We're going to say gather as harvest groups. But then we're also going to launch a thing that we're calling host homes.
Yeah, this is the part that really excites me.
Yeah.
I mean, because it is literally a throwback to the Old Testament where you're having church in your home.
New Testament, actually.
The New Testament. I'm sorry. That's what I meant to say. Where you're having church in your home. Mm-hmm. And, these groups are going to be, we just want them to be just spontaneous and organic and a time where everybody can get together and watch the service via video together, but still have that connection and that time with each other. And that's exciting to me. And, with hearing so many people say, oh, we miss the fellowship, we want to get back together again. This is a way that we can do that before we launch into everyone meeting together. So this is kind of our stopgap. But
I don't even know that it'll be stopgap.
No,
it once again depends on the success of it.
Yeah.
It depends on if people really embrace what we would consider home church, house church, where what we're going to ask people to do, and we've already approached a lot of people to say, hey, listen, would you be interested, once these mandates start lifting, would you be interested in doing a host home? And inviting, and it's going to be by invitation, once again, because people have to be comfortable with the people that are in their home.
Right.
If you don't know people, you're not sure about things. So we just want to make it as comfortable and responsible and safe as we can make it. And so we're saying at your comfort level, you invite the people that you would want to gather with you, preferably when we run live, which is at 9 and 10:45 on Sunday, but it's not limited to that. You could do it at another time. We'll give you access to the video so that you can show it whenever you want to. And it'll be the live, digitally produced service that we do every week right now. And we would invite you to sit there at in your house, around your table, in your living room, your dining room, your den, your whatever, and actually worship with the worship team. Sit and listen to the word. Then when it comes time for prayer and for those things, you guys actually pray with one another.
Yeah.
And so we're excited about that because it's once again, it's the Acts 2 model where the church met together in their homes as well as with the larger celebration gatherings. Now, we still can't do the larger celebration gatherings yet, but that, we believe, is going to happen on May 17th, where we are going to launch that host home.
May 17th is when we launch the host homes.
Yeah. And if things fall as they are falling right now, May 11th we'll start home harvest groups because the mandate should lift on the 10th of May. Now, once again, it is all dependent on those mandates. But is there anything that people would need to know? Because there might be people saying, I want to do that, but what if nobody invites me to their home? Then what am I just kind of the misfit here? Or
well, we're going to be posting that on our Church of the Harvest website, and there's going to be opportunity for you to sign up. If I've already contacted some of you about being hosts, but if you're out there and you would like to be a host and you haven't been contacted yet, there's going to be an opportunity for you to go on our website and sign up if you want to be a host, or sign up if you're interested in being in a home. And we will then take your information to the host and say, this person is looking for a home. And, do you have room? Because obviously we're going to be trying to follow the COVID restrictions. Do you have room? And, are you able to take them in? So, we want to find a home for everybody out there before we're permitted to go into our large group gathering. And a lot of you may be thinking, well, this doesn't feel much different than what we've been doing, watching it online. But I tell you,
the difference is fellowship.
Yes, and when you have the energy of people there watching it with you, and you have that community and that fellowship.
And discussion and prayer.
Yes.
And
worshiping together while the worship team worships, There's just so many components about it that will be different than when you sat and watched it alone.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you can go in your PJs as long as everybody else is comfortable with it. But the point is it gives that gathering opportunity. And once again, harvest groups, we encourage them to gather. Now, once again, not everybody's going to want to engage. There are some people, some of them that are high risk, are going to say, you know what, I can't do it right now. And then we say, hey, just fall back to our online and just watch that at the level you're comfortable. So once again, we're trying to provide environments so that people can stage in at the level they're comfortable, at the level they have the faith for. And so that's where we are, at the level that they feel is responsible and safe. So once again, that's one of the reasons we're doing that. Then, as it's being listed, once again, based on everything that we've discovered, then there's going to be a 2-week, and then they'll enter into phase 2. Once phase 2 happens, and by the way, we're going to send an email to everybody that will give you kind of a little bit more information. And then once again, the website will have all this information. But then we're going to go into phase 2, and phase 2 is when they open it up to 50. And that's when our Independence campus will launch. It will go back, because they can split into 2, and they can have a functional gathering experience into 2 services, and they can have a functional gathering experience there in Independence, and we can make that happen, and it won't feel too different, and we want it to go to 2 services pretty quick anyhow.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a good time for Independence to launch into their 2 service scenario. The other thing that's going to happen when phase 2 launches is that's when we're going to open up the facility for harvest groups to gather. Now, once again, we probably won't open up every night, but we will open for specific areas and for specific groups. And so Pastor Mike will coordinate all that. Once again, the website will give you all the information. So that'll happen, and we believe that's going to happen on June 7th, I think, or I might be a little, anyhow, it's 2 weeks after the 17th, so it actually might be May 31st or somewhere in there. It's last of May, 1st of June, whenever that is. And once again, all of this it all depends on what the government's doing. Then phase 3 happens, and not much changes. The church still is not having, Olathe campus is still not having its gathering meetings. And there's a lot of reasons for it. Number one, we're too large to do this without significant stress on almost everything and everyone. It would require more than 2, 3, 4, 5. It would require 8 to 10 services for us to be able to pull this off. Cleaning in between, doing everything that's necessary.
Because we don't want to turn anyone away.
No.
We want all of our body to be able to come.
We prayed a lot about
together.
this with the elders and our executive team. And it was really, I was like, ugh.
Yeah, it was
because I really wanted to get together, but I think wisdom really prevailed, and we said until we can gather together and be essentially what we are.
Right.
Let's trust our online campus. Let's trust our host homes and our harvest groups to be the functional expressions of who we are as a church. And then, when phase 4 is announced, and we believe that will be sometime the week preceding Father's Day. That will mean we will open for church. Both campuses will be open. The Olathe campus will be open on June 21st for full live services. Might be adjusted a little bit, but that's the plan. And I'm excited. I can't wait. Now I realize that's another month and a half at our Olathe campus where we're not having our classic services. I'm hoping that this, separation makes the heart grow fonder. But we believe it's responsible. We believe it's appropriate. We believe it's healthy. We have the peace of God that this is the right thing to do in this season. And I think it does something else. I think it activates our church for people to begin to become the salt and light in the earth that they need to be, and to be the church, and not just expect, a couple people to pull it all off. As you know, it takes about 150 volunteers on a weekend celebration to pull off a service, to pull off our weekend. 150. So just think about that in that context. So this is an opportunity for the church to really embrace the opportunity to gather, to be salt and light. And I believe it's an evangelistic opportunity, because you can say, listen, would you come and be a part of our home church experience, and invite them into your home and let them get a taste of who we are. It's not the full expression, but a taste of who we are in the fellowship that they're experiencing around your room, the word and the music and the ministry that's happening online, which we're constantly trying to upgrade it and make it better.
Yes.
I believe we'll see a greater harvest than we've ever seen. I believe we'll see people grow in their graces like never before, and it's really important for us. And the other reason why we're kind of holding back till June, mid-June, before we launch, is because family ministry kids, specifically little kids, are really where our challenge is, because it's hard to keep separation with kids.
You can't keep them apart very well.
Yeah. So we want to be mindful of all that,
Yeah.
and we want to do it safely, responsibly. And we also want to do it by faith. So for some of you, this will be a big disappointment. We ask you to just extend your confidence in our leadership and your confidence in the Holy Spirit's directions here. For those of you, I hope many of you see the wisdom in what we're talking about and are embracing the opportunity and the challenge that's in front of you. And for those that aren't quite sure, once again, we're just saying, hey, let's just trust God in this process. We've never been here before. At least in the modern era, the American church has never been here before. It's never been here since the beginning. I don't know if during certain pandemics that we've been experienced in America in those times, if it didn't affect things. But I'm telling you, I don't know that we've ever been where we are today. And I believe we're going to come out of it with wisdom. And I believe one of the things that we're going to see is we're going to see these three streams of expression continue to be realized. Digital, host homes, and our weekend celebrations.
I'm excited about each phase.
And I don't think that any of them will phase out.
No, I believe God's going to use them all.
Yeah,
And
I do too.
I am just believing, God, that a revival is going to take place in our homes.
And that's our biggest, that's our biggest desire.
Mm-hmm.
And David Wilkerson shared a prophetic word back in the early, mid 80s, that there would be a pandemic that would hit America that would drive the church to a revival.
Mm-hmm.
And the nation to a revival. Boy, if we don't hit that, I will be shocked. I'm believing for a revival.
Yes.
That refreshing and renewal is happening, that there's a purifying that is happening. There's this sense that God has ordered our steps. And even though it's been chaotic and uncertain, that God is still on the throne, and yea, through all these things, Paul was writing to the Romans in deep persecution. They're being burned at the stake and being thrown to lions. And he says, listen, he said, in all these things, we're more than conquerors. I'm telling you, we're more than conquerors.
So we want to encourage you, open up your homes.
Mm-hmm.
Be the church. Be the light. Be the salt in the world. Allow people to come in and minister to them. And we believe God's just really going to ignite something in you as you step out and are used of the Lord during this time.
Amen. Yeah. So we love you guys. We miss you. We hope this helps you navigate the next month and a half. And once again, you'll be receiving a blast email from us that kind of outlines what we just talked about. And if you have any questions, go on the website. Hopefully you'll find your answers. If you don't, just call the office. We're monitoring it. We will answer you. Our team will get back with you as quickly as possible. We love you. I mean, we miss you. We long for our gatherings.
Yes,
we really do. And we're excited to see it beginning to materialize. The light is at the end of the tunnel. So we just rejoice in that. We're really thankful for it. And man, can't wait to see you guys outside of Through a Lens. And I believe it'll be a great day. It'll be a joyous day. And we're so looking forward to it. And we miss you. Can't wait to see you. Bye, guys.